Hello, Digger here. I'm just going to be, here's another podcast. It's going to be talking about a couple things, and hopefully we'll be able to get most of it done. Well, yeah, some of the videos have been either longer or shorter, right? So I was like, eh. Um, so the first one that we're going to be talking about is, let's actually just start with the events so far that are coming up. So I know obviously there's Action Pack's Store Championship, but there's also Red Dragon's Store Championship that's 2 weeks prior, so it's May 27th. So that'll be in Ottawa. Decided to throw a little thing out there for the shop owner there. Technically, it's the only one I can take part in too, and try to get the invite. Because I can't take part in action packs. Other than that, is there any other events that are near you there?
No, we just had a tournament. It was a okay size, but we're just across the state from Philly, so not a lot of people could make it. We only had about 7.
That's not bad.
No, not that bad.
Sorry, multiple things going off all at once on my end. Oops. Okay. So, so there's that locals. Trying to get back on track here. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no problem.
So so you did your locals. I don't know. Are you going to any of the Materia or Sword Championships around, or?
I don't have the money to do that, unfortunately.
The pain is real. I know that.
The pain is real. Yeah.
I know that pain almost all too well, to the point where even my family and even my local stores kind of getting pissy with me. To the point where I could have the money saved up for all the blah 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 blah, but you keep going, stop spending on stuff when we can easily get it made in another way. It's like, but they're like, stop. I'm like, okay. Yeah, it's like, wah wah wah. So I'm basically told I am to stop, or there's going to be more restrictions on me for doing this stuff. I'm like, well, okay.
Fair enough.
So other than that, I know currently actually there's 21 100% confirmed for Action Packs event.
Nice.
And there's, I think, let me just check on how many there are. So there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 that are to be decided.
Okay.
So, well, 9 if you count, because I put the one player that was either going to see if he was going to be playing or judging, and he's probably going to be judging, so 9 technically. So, so yeah, we'll probably have like 30, maybe 29, 30, 31 at the most, if everyone gets there. We hopefully Meepo was able to come by, but yeah, so we have that. I already have my ticket already paid for Ottawa's, so that's all handled. So that was like the event little plug-in thing there. I guess I'll go on to the sets. So obviously this current set from Nightmare is already out. It's
Right.
A lot of people are saying it's good, but it's not like meta changing essentially for the game. It has a I don't know.
I
It's
think-
sorry.
I feel the Zidane is gonna be an issue when it finally starts happening.
Where's this thing? I think I have it here. Let me see if I can read it. Oh, yeah, I have one.
Two drop,
Fire wind.
Fire wind. When he hits the table or attacks, he looks at the opponent's hand, removes a card in it from the game. They draw a card.
That
Has haste.
Mm-hmm.
Cannot be blocked by anybody of cost 3 or greater. And 7k body.
2 cost 7k buy is pretty good. So if you do so, remove it from the game instead. Your opponent draws a card. So you're effectively removing stuff from their hand, and it's not to the break zone. You're just removing it before it even gets a chance to hit the field.
Yep.
Yeah, that's pretty good. And the fact that for wind or for fire, it's easy to just get him out, like cheat him out and whatnot. He's like, oh, I'm just gonna pitch his Zane. It's like, okay, get an effect, get him back. What? He's back.
Lightning also has a number of ways of puking him out.
Phoenix, the 4-drop Phoenix.
Because Lightning, you can use Reeve, you can use the new Aphmau from the current set.
Yeah.
Or, sorry, from the previous set. The Aphmau that looks at the top 5 cards, finds a cost 2 character, and puts it in your hand, then the rest on the bottom of the deck. Or you can pay 1 Lightning, Dole, Cracker to play a 2-cost character from your discard pile right into play.
Yeah. So, I can see people wanting that. The funny thing is, I was going through my bulk. It's like, oh, what the... Why is Zidane in this bulk? Okay, I'm just going to put it over with other legendaries. That's weird.
Yeah. I have a feeling that somebody's going to figure out how to break him. They're going to break him. And it's going to be terrible like Moshery.
Yeah.
And it's going to be one of those things where it's like, well, not everybody can utilize it, so maybe it's not that bad. And then it just starts...
snowballing.
It'll either be like Moshery or it'll be like Althea, where the people that are in the know will be like, yeah, this is stupid. I don't know why this was a created card. It doesn't deserve to exist. And
yeah.
Go from there.
I mean, Kayama-san did state that he doesn't want to ban legendaries, so at most he might limit them.
Even limiting Zidane... Well, limiting Zidane would reduce the issue from Lightning and Ice. It would mean you'd have to actually play Windfire for him.
Yeah. Still. I mean, based on that, yeah, you can effectively run 2, even 3 because of his cost, right? You don't... Because he's effectively a lightning rod.
Yeah, I was planning on running 3, and I was planning on using Yuke as a search for him.
Yeah, yeah.
Because the 3-drop Yuke from Opus 11 says when he hits the table, go through your deck until you find an Earth or a Wind character.
And Zidane's a Wind.
And if Zidane's the only Wind or Earth character in the deck, you go until you find a Zidane.
Yep.
Stuff like that.
And yeah, the only thing is you have to pay.
And then if you back him up with like Weiss, Biblos, Nero.
Yeah.
And you can also use Opus, I think it's 2 or 3, Shelky. When she hits the table, she drops a 2-drop forward from your hand into play. If that forward isn't Ice, your opponent discards a card.
Yep, that's basically.
So she can snipe 2.
Yeah, basically, you're causing a thief, like a literal thief deck.
Yeah.
And someone in my locals has tried to make one, and it's fire and it's wind. So, oh boy.
I think that'll be good. But moving on to the next set,
which is Dawn of Heroes. Yeah, 20. A lot of people are like, 20? You're on set 20? It's like, yeah. Holy damn, I didn't think it'll go that long. I'm like,
So far, I've tried looking it up. The only thing I've seen so far is the Xenos. We know we know the legacy cards, but the only thing I remember seeing is Xenos.
You didn't see Estinian?
Oh, that's right, the Estinian that was
Has like a warp, doesn't it?
yeah, he's a warp body. He's the Scion of the Seventh Dawn, and he's the signature rare for the set. That's what I'm calling them, the rares that have the signature.
He doesn't. Well, yeah, he doesn't have the signature, but yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I call him the signature rare, but he's basically the signature card. For the
Yeah. Now, for those that don't know the context, for 14, I was expecting him to be a mercenary. If you know the context of where that's from, cool. If you don't, you'll get there eventually.
Okay, so which do we want to talk about first, Xenos or Estinian?
I guess we'll go with Estinian, then we'll go to Xenos.
Okay.
I mean, for those that are in like the whole fan base, either the LGBT gay part of it for the men and all that, and for the girls, those two are like, well, those two for full arts are like for a better phrase, drooling. Yeah, they're basically the husbando, and those fans are drooling for those cards. Even those that don't play the game and weren't thinking about picking it up, they're like, okay, I need to get that box just for those cards.
Good luck with Estinian.
Right? I mean,
1 in 60 boxes. 1 in 60, guys.
Was that the definitive? Because I know Square Enix does not divulge any of that stuff.
It's been averaged out to be about 1 in every 5 master cases, and master cases 12 boxes.
Yeah. So you're paying like around, for Canadian, it's like almost $2,400 for a master case.
Yeah, 24. Yeah, in the U.S. you can get a box for about $1,000 USD.
Yeah.
You can get a master case for about $1,000. That's the going rate. So you're looking at about $5,000 to get one signed Estinian. And you'll have 60 full art Xenos. Because Xenos is the box topper for the set. He is the confirmed box topper, which is what they refer to as the buy a box promo. When you buy a box of this set, you are guaranteed a full art copy of Xenos.
Yeah.
But we'll start with the Estinian.
Yeah. So, I don't have the card description in front of me. Okay.
Here, let me put it in the chat. You ready?
Okay, let me see.
Here's the Estinian.
Oh, it'll be in the chat. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And let me get you the Xenos.
Which I'll bring it up more so on like the Xenos topic, but they did change how the art looks for the Xenos. But we'll get there later.
Okay. So Estinian is a 4-cost. I'm assuming lightning. Estinian has traditionally been a lightning character. Unfortunately, this is so early. When they had cards like these where they don't have the crystal, the problem was without that crystal, you don't know what color they are.
Yeah.
So
Now
what they do.
Sorry.
So what they do is in parentheses above the power on that card, it's supposed to say what elements they are. Or in the lower right-hand corner, there will be parentheses that say these elements. Problem is, this card was so early, they didn't put that down. But it's safe to assume he's either lightning or light.
Mm-hmm.
One of the two.
I mean, I'll assume it's lightning because he has like a lightning mana cost for warp.
Which that's why I want to lean towards light.
Yeah.
He could be light, and he could have the lightning warp effect as a legacy to the fact he's traditionally been lightning. But it's more likely that he is a lightning character with a lightning warp cost, and that warp cost is 1 lightning for Warp 1, meaning you don't get him the turn you warp him, but the next turn he's coming out.
Yep. And he has haste, which is good, just for delayed paid 1. You're paying 1 with a AK body with haste with a nutty effect.
Yeah. When he enters the field because of warp, until the end of that turn, Estinian is brave and can attack twice.
Haste with brave.
And when he attacks, until the end of the turn, he gets 10,000 power and first strike.
Yup. So, haste, brave, and first strike, the trifecta of
the trifecta of effects you want on an attacker.
Pretty much. And an extra 10k, so we swing in for 18 thou. Yeah.
Attack.
And twice, by the way.
Yes.
And if something blocks it, doesn't matter. His attacks don't go through. And he's not going to take the damage because it's like first strike. And it's like, do you have something to go over 18 thou? Not very likely.
And because he's first strike, he's protected against characters like Tonberry.
Yeah.
Tonberry can't poke him because he hits first.
Yep. There are cards that could go bigger than him, but that's very conditional for them to do it.
Now, important things to note. This is the first Estinian with the Scion of the 7th Dawn job. That's very important because it means that he's not for the Dragoon deck. The Dragoon deck doesn't even want to touch him because they rely so heavily on Algus that they can't risk flipping Estinian and having him go straight to the break zone. They need the card drop. So you aren't going to see him in Dragoon decks. He's specifically for the Scions.
I mean, people can throw him in there for the fan service, I guess.
But you've got two Estinians that are, I mean...
They kind of do the same thing, technically.
Yeah. We've got a full art Estinian that's already good for the Dragoon deck.
Yeah. Now that I think about it, this Silence of Dawn Estinian, he's going to be 20 thou for a power.
Right, because you're probably going to pair him with other Scions.
Well, you pair him with the Oracle of Light, which boosts Silence of Seven Dawn by 2. And then you have, even if he didn't have haste, you could just put like Alizé, the backup, which gives all Scions haste, and it's like, I'm still coming in, I don't care. Like,
I don't know. It's going to be rough. So I'm going to touch on the big problem with this. I am happy. Estinian's a Scion of the 7th Dawn. We finally have a new Scion of the 7th Dawn. It has been, years since we've gotten a new Scion of the 7th Dawn.
Yeah.
They have printed Scions, but the Scions have always been name-locked. It's always been Alizé, Alphinaud, Thancred, Urianger, and
Ida. Y'shtola, yeah. Ida was there.
Ida on and off, Lise on and off.
Well, Lise wasn't really a Scion. She was known as a fighter. And then there's Papolino, but...
Yeah, there is a Lise that is a Scion. She's in
Is there?
Fire.
No, that's not fire. That's a fighter. That's...
No. Lise from the starter.
Yeah, I don't think that's a Scion. Otherwise, she boosts things passively without the Scion, but I don't think she's a Scion.
I was pretty sure the... Why aren't you searching?
Let's see, the fire one. The starter. She is... Oh, wow, she is? What? Really?
The fire one is. The earth one that came out in Opus 17 is not.
Oh, weird. I always thought she was the fighter, but I guess I mixed her up with the other one then.
Yeah, the Lise that ends up taking over later when she's not in her fighter garb, that's the Scion of the 7th Dawn.
I mean, they're both in their fighter garb anyways. Just one's a different art versus the other.
Yeah, I don't consider the fire one in the fighter art because she doesn't have the leg armor. She's a kicker, so she has that heavy leg armor that she wears.
I
But
guess. Well, but that's
yeah,
details on details, so whatever.
yeah.
But
But yeah, the Opus 8. Since Opus 8, we got Lise, and I think Opus 8 also gave us Papalymo,
yeah.
and that was about it.
Well,
We
Papalino,
hadn't
Lise, and Ida, yes, basically.
we hadn't gotten a Scion of the Seventh Dawn that wasn't name locked in a long time. We haven't gotten anybody new. And one of my big complaints, my complaints are twofold, right?
Yeah.
First, we need Scions that are backups. We need backup support outside of Earth. Because
Okay.
all of the Scions that are backups are Earth. Papalyno, I want to say, what's her name? Momoni? What was her name?
Oh,
Momodi. Momodi,
the Adventurers
innkeeper.
Guild, yeah.
The Adventurers Guild person, the one that gives one of your targets brave for 0 during a main phase.
Give me a second. Whoops, I'm moving my thing around here. I just realized I have screen share on my thing, so I can pop up that Stinian if people want to look at it.
Yeah.
Neat. That's useful. Sorry, it's sidetracked. I was like, wait a minute.
So, basically, since Opus 8, we haven't gotten a new name in Scions in a long time. It's always been the same 5 over and over again, and they don't get a lot of backup support. We have Lesueur, and we have Momodi, and we have Papalymo, and that's about it. Oh, we have Creole. I forgot about Creole.
Yeah, Kryl, yeah, so. Which is hilarious because, well, there's a history with her with other characters that kind of make a name drop cameo appearance later on in other expansions, which is kind of funny.
But I think so. Here's my issue, right?
Mm-hmm.
We created Soiree, right? And Soiree proved that you can make a solid deck around 8 characters. And then and in the same breath that Soiree was running rampant, okay, we had the Turks, and the Turks are sitting at 6 characters. They're just shy of hitting that critical point, and the problem is they're all backup, or they're all forwards, except for 2. And the problem is the 2 that are backups, the 2 Turks that are backups, are Reno and Rude, and you do not want Reno and Rude as backups.
No.
You want the starter deck versions of them.
Yeah, and then now we have the 13 starter deck, which is you don't even need 4 or 5. I think you can only really use 3 or 4 technically.
I used 7 cards from that starter set. The rest of it was cards that I had already pulled together. It replaced the lightning that was in the deck. It gave me a Vanille, and it gave me a Vanille, and it gave me a Bahamut to use in the deck. That's a little easier to swing around than the Opus 13 Bahamut that I still have in the deck because it's in the Expos.
Yeah.
But that deck, I feel like that deck almost knows what it wants to do, but it doesn't do it quite efficiently enough. And you need a lot of cards from outside that deck, or those cards get overshadowed by cards outside the deck.
Yeah.
Getting back to the point, Estinian's a Scion. This is a good sign. But it doesn't help if we get locked with the same 5 people in Dawn of Heroes. And considering who's the art on the box and the booster packs,
yeah,
we're probably going to get locked with the same 5 people.
We might.
umpteenth version of them all.
I mean, we might get a character who's already been introduced, but he might be a Scion as well. I'm pretty sure of it.
You're pretty sure? My problem is we need a backup scheme for Scions. That is all Scions is missing to be competitive, I feel. If it had a solid backup scheme, it could hang. But the backups are the issue.
Yeah, because there are backups, but they clash with the name thing with the forwards that you would want, essentially.
Yeah, like, why would you take Lightning backup Alphino and Lightning backup Alisei when we have Water Alphino and Lightning Alisei?
Yeah.
Water Alphino is so good, Mono Water's been abusing them.
Yeah.
And Lightning Alisei in it is like made for the Scion deck. The new 4-drop that came out in 17, I want to say? Was it 17 or 18? 17, I think.
I think it was, maybe? Yeah.
So, Scions need a backup scheme that doesn't name clash. If they can get that, if they can have that backup scheme, and if they stop being afraid of letting backups count for Scion effects, Scions can compete. They force Scions on us every couple of sets, and then they pulled back from making it work. Like the Y'shtola that came out, the 3-drop Lightning Y'shtola.
Mm-hmm.
I think she was in 16. When she hits the table, you target somebody and give them minus 3,000 for every Scion forward you control.
Yeah.
We're in a meta where board wipes are happening constantly. The only thing you can really rely on is backups.
Yeah.
She isn't useful without that backup support. And because she specifically calls out forwards, it hampers what was an alright card.
Yep. Sorry?
She's just okay. And pales in comparison to Opus 5 Legendary Y'shtola, Opus 12 Legendary Y'shtola, and I'm gonna go on the limb and say Opus 13 Y'shtola. Or sorry, not 13, Opus 19 Y'shtola.
Yeah, the new Fire Lightning
one.
Yeah.
The new one. The new one helps that deck. That deck is almost there. Lightning Fire is going to be one of those self-damaging decks that's going to cause a lot of trouble once it finally gets 1 or 2 more cards. It needs a payoff. That's where it's suffering right now.
Yep.
It needs a payoff. And it doesn't have that payoff. And until it gets that payoff, right now the best payoffs that you can get are Fail Thanos, Behemoth K, and the starter Aranea from the Arden v Noctis deck.
Yeah.
And those are kind of lackluster outside of Behemoth K, and Behemoth K already doesn't see enough use.
I did see his price jump though recently.
Yeah, maybe people are starting to put it together. Maybe because we have Arden and Y'shtola, we can start building off of that, especially since you can do Cypher, Fuge, and Raijin for some cheap forwards that support each other.
Yeah.
But again, it's forward support, and that forward support is forwards, and forwards are very fragile right now. Like, it's the number one fragile thing.
Yeah. I mean, there are backups that can protect your forwards, but they're also lightning rods in and of themselves.
Yeah.
So
all in all, I like the Estinian. The Estinian is not reliant on the Scion deck, but I have a feeling the Scion deck's gonna want him for numerous reasons.
Yeah, if not one copy or two, I would say at most.
And fun fact, you can drop the Estinian in warp, play Vayne, get the Estinian that turn because the last warp counter gets removed, draw a card, and have Estinian attacking.
Yep. Yep.
You could do that turn too. Wouldn't be hard. And
Pretty
it wouldn't
much.
cost you that much. It would cost you. You would net lose one card in the exchange. You'd pay because all you'd have to do is first turn drop a lightning backup. Second turn use the lightning backup, put Estinian into warp, discard 2 cards to Vayne, play Vayne. Vayne enters play, removes a counter from Estinian. Estinian now enters play. Because you removed a counter, Vayne now draws a card, and you have Estinian that can attack twice for 18,000 with Brave First Strike and Haste.
Yep. So lightning wind's gonna be a thing. I mean, lightning's finally getting better support, but it has to be paired up with another color, sadly.
Lightning needs one thing in order to function. Okay. I was talking about this the other day. Lightning's biggest problem is that in order to do damage, you have to jump through hoops. I can understand limiting the break. As much as I hate it, limiting the breaks makes sense. Because if Lightning could just break stuff willy-nilly, it probably would be a little too strong. Granted, you got all sorts of different issues with that, but anyways, back to the point. Lightning needs to be able to do damage without having to do the hokey pokey first.
Yeah, I mean there are ways to lessen the cost of lightning cards like forwards, but they're all those type of cards that help lightning are lightning rods because people don't want lightning to go off because if it does, that's a problem.
Oh no, what I'm talking about is like all the various versions of Rama that are like only if the card came out this turn, or only if the card is dull, only if the card is active. Only if the card was born under the 4th moon while it went through Jupiter.
Yeah.
Could you remove the ridiculous restrictions? Fire already has something for it. If Lightning's thing was, say, just doing damage, but Fire has removal as its thing. I do damage, and if you die, you're RFG. That's Fire's thing. There is a number of Bahamut's and other ways to deal damage that say, I damage you, and if you die this turn, you're gone. Out of the game.
Yeah.
Lightning doesn't have anything like that.
It has one Rama, by the way, that just does straight damage. One.
Yes, and it was the newest one.
No.
Second newest.
It's the one that could be full art. It just choose up to 2 4, deal 1,000 damage, and 1,000 more for each Rama in your break zone.
Oh no. Opus 18's Rama is a 2-drop that does 7k damage, and then if you remove 10 lightning cards, bumps it to 15k, but has no restriction on what it can target. It's just damage.
Mm-hmm. So there's technically 2 then.
Yeah, and I feel that's bad. Honestly.
Yeah. Well, I don't.
It hits at 7k, so it hits a number of threats. You have the ability to pump if you need to really get threats. But it's also cheap. It's a 2 cost.
Yeah.
I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it punching down and then having the ability to punch up if you invest in it.
I can agree with that. It's kind of all right. I don't know. It's just with my one deck, the new Rama doesn't really work because I have 3 different colors.
Right.
So.
I'm using it in an Ice Lightning deck. You can see it. It's in deck lists, but it's basically my attempt at abusing the new Zidane, because as Shikati went on record to say, the people that can use wind fire things the best are not wind fire. Wind fire's getting there, but unfortunately, the elements that use wind and fire the best are not wind or fire.
Yeah. Alright, so that's pretty much the Estinian, which is still the art's really going to be pretty though. Like I've seen the foil of it because Kayama-san did kind of tease it in his Twitter.
Okay.
And he was like showing how it's foil. So Estinian himself is the kind of regular like foiling.
Yep.
He's in the foreground. The background is a little blurred. So the focus is on him while the background's a little bit more blurred, but it still has the special foiling for it.
Gotcha.
So I'm like, that's neat. That's really cool. Like you can still see the drag and all that stuff, but
Yeah.
it's more Estinian himself's kind of like front and center while the background's just there.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's a neat little foil. Now, if it was assigned by his either Japanese or English voice actor, that would be great. Okay, so let's just go on to the Xenos. Boop-a-doop.
Alright, so we have Xenos. He is a Dark Element hero of 4 cost, 9,000 power.
He's legendary, isn't it?
He is the legendary. He is legendary, and he is the Buy a Box promo.
Yeah.
Xenos can be cast from your break zone. When Xenos enters the field from the break zone at the end of the turn, remove him from the game. When Xenos enters the field, choose 1 forward of cost 3 or less. Break it. When it is put from the field into the break zone this turn, select one of the 2 following actions. Your opponent discards a card, or Xenos gains haste until end of turn.
Yep.
So, as somebody said, I am enjoying the fact that they're finally making the light and dark cards a little stronger than the norm, because while you can use anything to pay for them, because you can't discard them, get rid of them when they're in your hand without using an effect to do so, it really hampers your ability to make full use of these guys, right?
Yeah.
So, if it's gonna clog your hand, you want it to have an effect that's worth you choosing to include extra copies of this, so it can clog your hand.
Yeah. Well, I guess so that way if you have like six or more, you can just pitch them, right? So.
Yeah, if you get to 6 cards in hand or more. But how often does that come up, Digger? Let's be honest here. How often do you end your turn with more than 5 cards in hand? I can count on one hand the number of times since I started playing this game that I have ended with more than 5 cards in hand. And let me tell you, it frustrated the hell out of me because it was when Soiree bricked so hard I got 6 cards with all of different colors and none of them were Amber, and I didn't have Amber or Shinju on the table. It was first turn.
Mono Water has the problem of getting ample cards in your hand.
It can, definitely, and it does encourage you to play more cards.
There's a couple other new cards that are sampled, by the way, for the new set. Sorry, we'll get onto that later, but there's new sample cards, yeah.
Oh, new sample cards? Okay. We'll have to take a look at these. You'll have to throw that link up in the chat.
Yeah.
So, first off, you can cast Xenos from your break zone. So, every Xenos you use is getting 2 uses. The initial cast, and then after they invariably deal with him, he comes back. And when he does, he's killing someone.
Yeah. And he's also swinging in as well if he kills someone, right?
If he kills somebody, he either gains haste or he discards a card. I have a feeling Lightning Ice will like this Xenos because it's a discard that they can do twice if they need to. And he's a 9k body, so he discourages attacks. And you are going to throw him in front of every attack that comes because you want him to die.
Yeah, or you're just like, hey, there's a big body. Yeah, I'm just going to attack. Well, why?
Yeah.
Because I'm going to attack.
I'm gonna attack. Because when he dies, he'll come back, he'll kill another one of your forwards, and I'll discard a card from your hand, and that can trigger Weiss, that can trigger Biblos, that can trigger Barrel Eye.
Yep.
There's a number of triggers out there that say when your opponent discards a card from their hand, you'll freeze one of their characters. And Xenos may help out that deck.
Yeah, and the fact that he's, for all intents and purposes, colorless, that's really good.
Yeah, you don't have to worry. You can drop him as soon as you draw him. He's like Kadaj, in that he's kind of a toolbox. He's whatever you need at the time.
Yeah.
And he's that magic 4-cost.
For a 9K body.
Yeah, the 9K body is nice. I'm not gonna lie. But it's the fact that he's a 4-cost means you can trade one card to potentially get 2 or 3 out of your opponent. Because you're killing somebody, and then you're either making them discard a card from their hand, or you're giving them haste to attack in, and so you can dole 2 backups and discard a card to potentially get 2 cards out of your opponent the turn he drops.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's just say they go wide, they have something big. Lay him down, they discard, lay him down.
Kill somebody.
Yeah, swing in, he dies. Okay. He's in the break zone. Cast him. Okay. I guess kill someone again. This is if the board went wide, because some decks still tend to do that. So it's like, swing in, keep going. And
yeah, the Category 13 deck loves to go wide. It has to go wide.
yeah, and the fact that you can just keep getting him out, because when he comes out, he's considered a new card. So
Exactly.
he can just keep getting that haste, just go ba 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 ba.
Yep.
So either they block and he keeps coming out and killing the opponent's board, or they take the hit and he just is gone.
Oh yeah, and that's the other thing. He can hit and run. The only way he gets removed from the game is if he's still in play. If he dies before the end of the turn, he'll just sit in your discard pile.
Yeah. Actually, aren't there cards that deal X? Oh. Ew, I saw a little combo just to be cheeky. You know the one summon that's lightning that goes, you pick a forward, your opponent picks or cost. You pick a cost, your opponent picks a cost. Break all the forwards with that cost.
Oh, yes, I know who you're talking about. Judgment the Walker or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. It's like
I have like a whole stack of them because they came in the anniversary box.
So I was like, swing in, you take damage. Okay. Main phase, you go and do this. Anything? Oh, go to my end, or at the end of my main phase, you go and do anything? No. Okay, I'm just going to do this. Kill him. What? Or even just during an attack phase, it's like, kill him. He's back. What? Boop. Actually, even in main phase 2, that's fine. This is main phase 2. He's back. You discard a card. And then kill him again.
There's Chaos Walker the Wheel, which is different. That's destroy a card and then your opponent can play one from hand.
Yeah. Is that destroy a card or something your opponent controls?
It's destroy. Choose one forward the opponent controls, break it. If the forward's put into the break zone, your opponent may play a forward from their hand onto the field.
Yeah, that's your opponents. I'm thinking about something that you can affect your own side in some way.
Yeah,
because then
I'm trying to something to judge. I think.
Yeah, there is a judge that I think that reduces all.
There it is. Exodus, the judge solved.
Yeah.
Select one number, your opponent selects a number, break all forwards of cost equal to either number.
Yeah. So you can go, it doesn't say they have a bunch of 3 costs, right? Because that seems to be the trend these days.
2 or 3 seems to be where Horde decks sit at.
Yeah. So it's like, oh, I picked 2, and he's only 40 that you have. It's like I picked 4,
Yeah.
and they have to pick 4 because it's not a you may, it's a mandatory.
They have to pick a number. No, they have to pick a number. They don't
Yeah.
have to pick a number to break. So they can choose to not do Exodus just so that way Xenos doesn't break. So he could potentially be removed at the end of the turn. But now here's where I point out Xenos in Soiree. Now you're in trouble because if you don't choose 4, I still have all my Soiree. If you do choose 4, I'll just cast Xenos again, kill somebody else, and have a haster.
Yep. So.
Yeah.
He can be utilized very well. His initial, the initial thoughts I've heard from people when he was first spoiled was like, eh. But now looking at it from different perspective since this current set that came out, it's like, wait a minute.
Wait a minute, you can do this and that and the other?
Yeah. And regardless of deck, husbando, factor. Now, this art that's in the sample here was changed, so it's more zoomed in now instead of that one. I'm like, what? But whatever.
Okay. So, I think Xenos will have a place. It'll be in an aggressive or a control style deck. Because he's a kill and he's a discard on a stick, which are 2 things that control loves. If you can get him killed before the end of turn, Xenos will not care. Also, Ice would love him because you can cast Renoa, or you can cast, or you can use Une, the 6-drop backup, to flicker him out of play. Then the game forgets that he was cast from the break zone, so he doesn't get removed from game at end of turn, and he gets to kill again. Sure, he comes into play Dole, so you just choose the discard, because the haste isn't going to matter.
But that's fine, because you've just dealt it.
Ice, and that discard's going to fuel a couple of things.
Yep. And even then, it's like, okay, kill something, swing it. Ooh. Yeah. Flicker him. Discard.
Exactly.
So, yeah. Let's see if I can share in the chat some of the cards here.
Yeah. I want to take a look at these cards. Because we only have the 1 card from 21, right?
Uh-oh.
Nothing else has come out other than Jack Garland?
No, there's been a couple other ones.
From 21? Okay. Well, I know that the legacy ones got spoiled.
Let's see.
Okay. So,
let's just go to the Jack Garland first.
That's Chaos.
Yeah.
That's Jack Garland. Oh, so there's also here.
There's the Reaper. I forgot there was a Reaper.
Yeah.
I was going to do the link. My bad. Oh yeah.
We do have some interesting art. I love that Orin. That Orin looks amazing.
Yeah. Personally,
we also have a Grapha in Lightning. So
oh, you mean Graha?
We very well get a new Scion.
Yep, that's what I was talking about. The Graha.
Yeah, Graha. We also got the return of Cowboy Tifa.
Yeah.
Because there's always 69 Tifas and a token merit every set.
Mm-hmm.
We got a Yuffie. We've got Terra.
I think that's
bottom right. Is that Furion or is that Alphino?
Bottom right. That's Cecil.
Oh, that's Cecil. Yeah.
The water one.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then we have a Noctis, and then that
Malteus, I think, or something like that.
No, the blue one is a summon, and it's the one that
It's
It's the one that destroys attacking creatures. What's its name?
I think it's Mateus the Corrupt or something. I don't know.
Mattias. Mattias the Corrupted.
Okay.
Yeah, Mateus the Corrupted.
Yeah.
So we're getting a new Mateus, which is probably going to do something with attacking or blocking or doling creatures. Because there was a 1-drop Mateus that destroyed a blocking creature.
Of whatever cost.
5-drop Mateus that destroyed an attacking creature.
Yeah. Yeah, so that Graha's... Like, even if the fan service for Graha there is going to be huge. Like, he's also husbando because within lore, during whatever, in the beginning, he didn't like your character. He thought your character was annoying. Ooh. And then over time, he grew such a fanboy mindset for the Warrior of Light.
For the role?
Yeah, where it's just like, okay, this is husbando / fan service of a fanboy. Sure.
Yeah.
So the art looks good. Like you said, the Orin, the Cecil's probably gonna be a full art too.
I hope that Orin's a full art.
Yeah. So those are original artists type art, and it was confirmed that original artists for card art is gonna be a full art.
Okay, so he's gonna be a full art, and that Oron looks amazing. It's just a shame that he's not useful in the Guardians of Spirit deck that the custom 10 deck was.
Right.
But he's still cool. Maybe this is something that's supposed to grow out of the 10 backup line that's been created with Buddy, the new Riku. Because you can do Buddy into Brother, and then you've got the new Riku that's basically Sig Kramer for category 10.
Yeah.
So you've got a backup line. Everybody's saying, oh, this backup line's so amazing, you gotta play it. I'm not so sure I agree with that, but I can't argue that it is nice to have a backup that searches other backups. That is such a niche and important thing.
Yeah. So let's just see. So we did all that for that set. Let's just probably go on to like the next set at the end of the thing because the current samples are out.
Yeah. Oh, those are different samples. Okay, so who do we want to start with? The actual card that's been spoiled?
Well, Jack Garland because he's the only one with text so far.
Yeah. Okay, so we have Jack Garland. So all we know about this guy is he hates chaos. He's got to find chaos. He's got to kill chaos.
I mean, it's not really much of a surprise because you do, like, it's even without saying any spoilers, people can go, yeah, no, you're playing as this guy, so. But yes, you are correct. At the beginning, it's like chaos. Oh, it's like yeah.
So, this is the Stranger of Paradise, Final Fantasy Origins, Jack Garland.
Mm-hmm.
This is the guy that caught a horse midair and chucked it at somebody.
Pretty much.
Jack Garland is a 3-drop
dark
element character. He counts as Garland in all situations. So in any situation you could find a Garland, he counts.
Yup. Brave, that's pretty standard for Garland a lot of times, honestly.
Yeah. When Jack Garland enters the field, you can search for one category, Strangers of Paradise, Final Fantasy Origins, forward and add it to your hand. So we know that there's going to be others.
I assume there's going to be
at least the 3, right?
There's Sophia. What's the Sophia?
I'll admit I did not play Strangers of Paradise.
What are their names? There's your maid. There's these 2 mages or dragoon or whatnot, which are two female characters and the 2 male characters, whatnot. Fuck! I'm brain farting her name. I know Sophia and I know the other one. Crap. I'll look at it later. But basically, By the way, in the game, they do have relevance to the original Final Fantasy. It's not really. I'm not going to say it, but it's not really spoiler. If you actually play, you go, I'm pretty sure this is what's going to happen, and it happens. So
Yeah.
it's not like it's trying to keep it a secret. It's just it's there.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't. So wait, his tap ability. I think I can make out what the thing says.
Dole him, so he has the Dole symbol, so can't be done the turn he comes out. But
Yeah.
Dole, choose the dark character,
Yeah.
break it. Jack Garland deals you a point of damage. This is a nod to anybody who understands who Jack Garland actually is because they finished the first Final Fantasy and they knows why this is so flavorful.
And with the connection to the lore too, so it's really good actually.
It's an amazingly flavorful ability. I'm not going to spoil it. If you want it spoiled, you need to play Final Fantasy and Strangers of Paradise. Either one will work, but you need to play one of them. I know the reason why this is so flavorful, and it's fun.
Actually, I'm just looking at the art
so
here.
You condole him to just break a dark character. He's a dark character that hates dark characters, which is totally fitting for this. And he's a 9K body for 3.
Yeah. I just realized if you take a double look at the pit of the art, it has like a kind of like a staticky like image to it. I'm like, ooh,
Yes.
that's kind of neat.
Yeah.
Though I'm looking at this, I'm like, ooh, he's colorless. Ooh, because I have a bleed deck that relies on me being hurt and punching my opponent for hurting me, or I hurt myself.
Right.
So I'm like, ooh, that's cool.
Now, we also have other cards that
Yep.
the art of them has been spoiled, but we can pretty much tell who these cards are.
So the dark one that's at the whatever, I know that,
Okay.
and it's very.
Is
I
that
mean,
X-Death?
nope,
Is that X-Death or is that Chaos?
that's chaos.
Okay, so we have a Chaos. This is probably a Strangers of Paradise Final Fantasy Origins Chaos.
Mm-hmm.
To go opposite Jack Garland.
Yeah.
We have no clue. We just have the art to go by. He's standing there. He's looking impressive. He's got 4 arms, and he's got horns. He's a horny guy.
Also, if you notice, I assume he's going to have earth, water, wind, and fire abilities because one arm has the glow of earth, one arm has the glow of water, one arm has the glow of wind, and all that, and then the fire.
Yeah.
So-
yeah, and that's in keeping with the Warriors of Light theme that they kind of have going with the new set that's out now. So maybe he's meant to be some sort of anti-Warriors of Light thing.
Yep.
I don't know. Maybe
But-
he's the built-in counter to Warrior of Light, meant to come out after the set that Warriors of Light become a thing. Because right now, one of the decks that everybody's worrying about is Warriors of Light.
Which is understandable, to be honest.
That Refia is disgusting.
Oh god, yeah.
She's cute as fuck, but she's disgusting.
But let's see, go back to Jack. So he says break one dark character. It doesn't specify your opponents.
Yeah, you can break your own.
So
And maybe he lets you play character for free if you break this chaos. Maybe it's going to be something like Thornton, where if you have a way of getting him off the field, he actually ends up having a secondary use.
yeah, and maybe he also, if you're saying an opposite Warrior of Light thing,
Yeah.
then you can break him with Jack, do something that hampers the Warrior of Light deck.
Yeah. That would be interesting.
Yeah. So then there's Irvine, which is interesting because he's usually been like either ice or fire. Yeah, so the fact that he's lightning is ooh.
I don't remember ice. Was he ever ice? I thought he was fire only.
I thought he had one ice card. I could be wrong. Let me see.
No, I'm not seeing that.
So it's only been fire. Okay.
Renault is Renault's thematically always been ice. I guess because she wears the blue.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there's only 3 Irvines and 2 of them are backups and 1's a forward.
Yep.
And they're all fire. Okay. So this will be a different one then.
So I have a feeling they're trying to give Category 8 a home in Lightning.
Which is good, honestly, because
they needed it.
Yeah.
We have Selfie and Irving in fire with Zell. Cloud has traditionally, or not Cloud, Squall's traditionally been in ice with Renoa, but he's also light, so you can get around it with the light versions. And we finally did get that fire one, so I think a fire and lightning Category 8 deck would work.
That would be great, actually.
And with Sig Kramer, you can splash Renoa in, and you can even use the Renoa that gets cheaper for every Category 8 character you control. Because I believe that one counts characters, not forwards.
Yeah, there's also that Renoa for...
Quistis is also in ice. Quistis has traditionally been ice, but if we could get a Quistis in lightning or fire, the deck's on. But I don't think Quistis has been outside of ice.
She's been in water.
She's been in water. You're right. She's been in water because she's a blue mage. She's the blue mage.
Yeah.
Ice and water. We just need her to go fire or lightning. If she could go either of those, I think Category 8 actually has a chance of being a deck.
Yeah, I mean...
Especially since they finally got Fujin out of wind.
I know Tile 8 is going to be a really good deck, to be honest. Like the tile format?
I've heard Brave Exvius and 14 are the decks to beat.
Yeah, well, 7's not that bad either.
7's not bad either because of the whole Avalanche deck finally giving it some real purpose, as well as the Turks. You got a couple of different things in there you can do.
Yeah. Title 13, but that's a whole other topic.
Yeah.
But let's see. Let's go to the next one. There's a new Layla or whatever from Final Fantasy 2.
Layla, Vikings might be coming back. Watch out, guys.
What?
She looks awesome.
Yeah, and it's gonna be a fuller because it's original art.
Yep.
I assume it has something to do with a Viking and whatnot. Maybe Job Viking this time.
I'm guessing she's going to do stuff with Vikings or standard units.
Yep.
That's traditionally been Water's thing, is like it's always kind of had the standard unit thing going for it.
Yep. And then there's Mitsuki or whatever from Type 0.
Yeah, Type 0's getting some love after, 4 or 5 sets without a single card. They finally... Oh, sorry. They've had Ace a couple of times, but that's about it.
Yeah.
Ace
I like the art,
is
though.
good.
I like her art, though, to be honest.
Yeah, it's awesome art, but it's very anime art, too.
I mean...
It's a... Yeah.
It's going to have its pull because, anime.
Yeah. Now, I know what the green card is. Can you name the character?
Pandemonium.
Pandemonium or Famfree. Either works.
I think it's Pandemonium. It's on the site.
Okay.
Still. Pandemonium.
Pandemonium hasn't had a card that's significantly impacted the meta in a while.
Yeah. I mean, the only one that was kind of good, which was the board hit, free summon, essentially.
Yeah.
So there's that, which is going to be really fun. I'm actually kind of excited, though, for the Stranger of Paradise, honestly, because I really like the game. As much as it is hard, I really like that game.
Again, I haven't played it. I'm a terrible Final Fantasy fan. You heard it here first.
But I wonder if there's going to be a Gilgamesh in this set, and Emperor.
A Greg?
Yep. Because in Stranger Paradise, in one of the DLCs,
Greg shows up.
yeah, he's like, "Where am I? Oh, I guess I'm here."
So, for those that don't know, in Final Fantasy Mobius and Final Fantasy XIV, they have confirmed that in most cases, the Gilgamesh that's been running through every single game has been the same person.
Yep.
He is this timeless warrior that just basically goes around picking fights with people, but he kind of is. He's genre savvy. He's kind of aware of the fact that he's seeing the same tropes left and right, no matter where he goes.
Think of him actually best way to describe him. Think of him like Final Fantasy's own Deadpool.
Yeah, he's aware. He's aware that these are stories that are going on, and he's aware of the people he's talking to's place in the story. In fact, he has a very long, drawn-out conversation with the Warrior of Light of Mobius about how he constantly sees the same look on every single protagonist's face at one point or another.
Mm-hmm. But, yeah. So, there's a Gilgamesh in there. I mean, there's a new Bahamut from Stranger Paradise, which is which is really neat.
Isn't that Bahamut, like, strangely, like, civil?
Yeah, he's actually civil with Jack Garland and whatnot, even after all of blah 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 happened.
Yeah.
But he's like, "What's your aim here? I don't get this." And obviously Jack and Sparty explains like, I don't agree with it, but I see your point. Okay, I'm going to test you.
Yeah.
So he doesn't like what Jack's doing, but he goes, "That makes sense. I'll help you for that reason only."
Yeah. I don't agree with what you're doing, but I agree with the reason. I can't fault your logic.
Yeah. Then there's also the Emperor from Final Fantasy II coming in the Stranger Paradise, because the Emperor is also best way to put it, he's like Deadpool. He's like another version of Final Fantasy's Deadpool, but he takes things literally seriously. Like, if he could be in, he basically says, "I'm in every universe. I don't care where I am. I just want to take it over."
You know what he is? He's like Thanos.
That's a better example. Yes.
No, maybe not Thanos. Who was? You remember the old X-Men cartoon, right? Who was the guy? Who was the guy that does
Cable?
Apocalypse.
Well, was it? Or I thought it was Cable.
No, I'm not talking about the time traveler. I'm talking about the villain that they defeat by shattering, and he's like, "Just wait, enough of my pieces will grow together that I'll be able to do something, and you guys."
Oh, that one, yeah. But
that was Apocalypse.
Yeah.
He's like Apocalypse. He's insane, just because of how all the information he's subjected himself to has driven him crazy. And that insanity is, I have to be in charge because I'm the only one smart enough to be in charge, and you guys can't do the job. You just can't.
Yeah. For the Emperor, sorry?
This is the guy that was so crazy that when he died, his soul shattered, and one half of it took over heaven, and the other half took over hell.
Yep.
Caused such an upheaval that the gods themselves came to the party and said, "You guys did this, you guys fix it."
And yeah, so also for the Emperor for Final Fantasy lore, including Dissidia, where it's supposed to be not canon because Chaos, Cosmos, Materia, and Spirit is supposed to wipe the memory.
It's a game between Chaos and Cosmos.
And Spiritus and Materia, but whatever.
Dissidia is how Dissidia is supposed to be, with Spiritus and Materia serving as their avatars for talking to the actual players.
Yeah, so in the original game for the PSP way back, so if there's spoiler warning, this game's been out for a while. You should have played it.
Yeah, even I've played it a bit.
So at the end of it, there's a cutscene that all the heroes go back to their own time. Their memories are wiped of that whole incident. Like 100% wiped. The only one that remembers is because he loopholed the living hell out of it was the Emperor. He created another copy of himself with, by the way, a linked mindset. So no, it doesn't matter if the Emperor goes back to his time. He'll still have a mental link with the other one that's still in the Dissidia world.
Yeah.
And that's what he's doing in Stranger Paradise and every other world he's in. He just leaves a copy of himself there and has a mental
and that
link.
Copy does whatever it's going to do, and he gains the knowledge that copy has.
Pretty much. Hence why he goes into Stranger Paradise and Jack's like, well, I have to deal with this.
Yeah.
And that's in DLC, right? So, but that basically, yeah. So I would be surprised if there's not, there wouldn't be a way to kind of use the chaos and Jack in some weird conjunction with the Emperor.
Wouldn't be surprised at all. Wouldn't be surprised if there was a new Emperor that was designed to work with it.
Yeah. But I don't think we got to the DLC part of it for the cards yet. Feels bad, but hey, if they add it, cool. I think that's about it for now for the discussions, because I know you have some other stuff to do as well.
Yeah.
But they want to say though, thanks for coming out, Dissinger, and for those of you that are watching and whatnot, what do you think about the Stranger Paradise set? Of course, Dawn of Heroes is hyped. It was more spoiled and hype even before From Nightmares was spoiled, which is kind of funny. But some people I've heard are a hit or miss on Stranger Paradise. But I am going to ask, for those of you that watched it and listened, what are your thoughts? Like, is it a good set? Are you hyped about it? Are you like indifferent about it? Are you like, not really good theme? Let us know in the comments or otherwise. So, once again, thanks, Dissinger, for coming out.
Yeah, no problem.
And this is Digger, signing out.